holdout.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Chair League. I'm your host Jayzon, joined once again by my teammate and casting partner Icefox. Thanks for coming back and doing another game with me, buddy.
Always a pleasure. Always look forward to good matches and good casting, usually.
Usually good casting.
Usually.
Occasionally,
I can't say too much about myself. I suck.
Occasionally meh casting, but usually good casting. Odin X1 also, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, man. We have Ragnaros coming out as the hover for the side of DigiNauts. I like that. But not a big surprise. He's pretty good on this map. Pretty good on every map. He's pretty good in the game in general.
Have you changed your stream overlay? I'm just looking at the stream and it's still the DigiNauts versus BJandCo.
True, but there's a minute delay.
That's true. I was just looking out for us.
That's okay. I appreciate it.
New follower detected.
We're going to go on over to Sylv instead. Also a pretty solid ban on this map. Sylv is just kind of broken in general on this map. Not only really good at pushing with enemy Zerg waves, but great at clearing it as well with that never-ending spreading Shadow Dagger.
Yeah, I have some experience with Sylv on this map, ending a game in 4 minutes, but the Ragnaros ban is a pretty good ban here as well. Ragnaros is very good at limiting the damage that Zerg can do to forts and clearing them semi-effectively, as well as being a very strong solo lane in the top.
Right, most teams go with the 4-1 strategy, where in this first section they leave that solo laner in the top lane and have the 4-man pushing in the bottom. So, really good to have the opportunity to get yourself a solid solo laner. Gul'dan going to be the first pickup here for DigiNauts. A great hero for this map. Tremendous wave clear, as well as having good solid sustained damage. If Gul'dan's getting solid sustained healing, the mana tap can keep him in lane for much, much longer than the average mage to be able to just sustain damage to pressure these beacons to be able to try and keep them. Yeah,
and then they're going Zarya and Sonya on BJandCo, which is a very decent combo. Somewhat counterintuitive since Sonya heals, but Zarya will prevent the damage, but I'm sure Sonya won't be her main shielding target anyways.
Yeah, Sonya also a really good solo laner. I particularly like her on this map for that solo lane. Not beat by too many heroes, with that solid sustain that she has from Whirlwind. Is able to clear those waves, constantly keep pressure in the lane, and is a pretty good dueler on that beacon. You pretty much have to rotate somebody to her. The one exception being Rexxar. Rexxar should be able to compete with her pretty well. So there are your solo laners up top, and Tychus, the pickup here for DigiNauts. After these changes, they're not afraid to go Tychus.
Yeah, and Tychus, we've had a little bit of experience against him since the changes, and he doesn't feel hugely impactful anymore with the range nerf. He's just so open to getting hit by frontliners now. It's much more of a risk to play him without defensive heroes to protect him like Tassadar or Zarya.
Yeah, he's definitely a risk, but there is also a reward, a possible reward to that risk. He has been buffed slightly in other areas. Odin actually has also gotten a little bit of a range increase, which gives him a bit more siege potential as well on this map. So we'll have to see what they decide to pull out with the Tychus. Definitely already two solid, pretty high HP heroes over on the side of BJandCo, and they still may decide to get a main tank. But Malfurion going to be the pickup here, or the ban, I should say, for BJandCo. Pretty solid ban. Malf is good on this map. You basically have 3 strong sustained healers on this map, Malfurion being one, but actually one of, I should say, the 4 that can struggle a little bit in the mana department. The other 3 being Ariel, Morales, and Brightwing. Ariel having the not having to use mana mechanic can stay in for a long time. Brightwing can always go back and get mana and then port right back in, but Malf and Morales can suffer a little bit in that department. So they'll go ahead and ban out the Malf. We'll have to see what they want to pick up here, is really the question. Tassadar being the hover here for the side of BJandCo. Tassadar contributing even more shields along with that Zarya, being able to enable Sonya even further, so they're going to go ahead and just ban it out.
Yeah, it makes sense. Since BJandCo have the next 2 picks, they could possibly have picked up Tassvala and then just had a really strong comp. But they don't want to deal with that today.
Yeah, if they're going to carry with Vala, it's going to be with a more traditional support. But then again, I don't know. Do you go Tassadar, Zarya, and then another healer? Because that's not very much damage coming out from anybody. But they are going to go KT. Not exactly your standard pickup unless your name is Nainu, but he does have a tremendous wave clear on this map as well, and good CC combo to go with Sonya if they get a tank that can offer a little bit of setup CC for that spear. We could end up seeing stun into spear into gravity lapse here. Yeah,
ETC is still up, which wouldn't be a bad pick if they're going for CC. And lock down on Tychus, possibly.
They're going to go Uther. They're going to leave their options a little bit open here, seeing if maybe they want to go without the one true tank and instead just kind of stick with Sonya and Zarya as the pseudo tanks. But you think they would still go with one here. Interesting that they didn't pick one up there, considering that DigiNauts hasn't gotten their tank yet. They could have possibly denied something. But prioritizing the support and KT more than that frontliner.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how good of an idea that was, due to the fact that Uther really isn't going to ever be contested. He's really far out of the meta right now, and he's probably not all that great on this map, I'd assume. Mana problems and weaker healing probably will put him on the back end of the exchanges.
Yeah, and almost no real wave clear either. You can go with the E build to get a little bit of extra damage out, a little extra length and width on that healing wave. But yeah, it's going to be ETC and Morales coming out here. So a solid couple of picks from DigiNauts. Going to have sustain for days down in that 4-man between Gul'dan, Tychus, Morales, and ETC. They have staying power in that bottom 4.
Yeah, if I was BJandCo, I'd be a little bit worried about the CC lockdown and damage potential coming from the side of DigiNauts.
Yeah, between Misha up front when they do collapse and go for that 5-man, for sure. ETC will offer a decent amount by himself. There's even a little bit coming out from Morales with the grenade, but and Tychus actually with the grenade as well. So each of them have at least some sort of small form of CC. Other than Gul'dan until he gets that Horrify at 10. So the question is, what does BJandCo need here?
I'm honestly not that sure. They could get a tank, but I'm not sure. No, Lunara.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and go to the back line and let Sonya be the pseudo tank, though. Sonya is probably your solo laner, so they're probably just building for poke here. Zarya, Kael'thas, and Lunara. Not hard engaging, not trying to not get caught out here, and poke in that bottom. But I don't know if they're going to be able to really take the beacon too well off of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure they just have the power to push into Lieutenant Morales or anything either. Like, even if Lunara goes leap, all it'd take is 1 CC to lock her down to the back line, and Tychus would just tear her apart.
Yep. We'll have to see how this one goes. We do, I've been surprised by comps far stranger than this, though, Icefox. But Uther, I am worried about Uther struggling with some of the Gul'dan damage. They're gonna have to be very good at evading the Gul'dan corruption damage if they hope to have any chance in this one.
Yeah, if Gul'dan gets stacked a little bit too early, he's going to become a monstrous threat. They really need to focus on just avoiding and not giving him the stacks.
Facility powering up.
We're about to begin.
At least that's the build I'm assuming he's going with, but we have seen the more tanky builds on him, his Q builds. But no, he's going the normal echoed corruption.
All right, so we are loaded in here onto Varaxis holdout. Don't get to see a whole lot of these matches nowadays, unless we're playing on it.
Systems
But
online.
on the left, your blue team is
10
DigiNauts.
seconds.
We're gonna have Zolatoid is going to be playing the Tychus Helmet Head on ETC. Jason playing the Gul'dan Zydar on Morales, and Digi Bowis is going to be playing the Rexar.
And on the red team, we have BJandCo with Manfruno on Sonya, Gerudo King on Uther, Odin on Zarya, Zintius on Lunara, and Baddest on Kel'Thas.
The baddest of them all. Going to be playing KT
Well, no one
this
can
game.
be more bad than Taco.
That's true. He's probably the baddest KT out there. But right away, some convection stacks being earned there off that first flame strike. And that's pretty much just going to be the strategy here. Lunara, oddly, going to be put up in the solo lane here against Rexar. Gotta tell you, partner, I didn't see that one coming. Monferno getting very low. Gonna get the heal, but the poison damage is real. The tap will be just enough to keep Monferno from falling here, but gonna have to give him a little time for those long cooldowns to come back from Uther, and Monferno's gonna decide to go ahead and hit the B button instead.
One thing with the solo lane and top, it kind of makes sense with Lunara against Rexar, just because she can poke out the bear pretty safely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Get the bear nice. Well, but the bear is going to have some solid healing power as well throughout this. So we'll have to see. I mean, Lunara is somebody that'll try to attack Chen all day and will never actually get the kill. I'm worried we might see a similar mechanism here between Misha and Lunara.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to focus on the bear and ignore the wave, but it just depends how you're playing it.
Couple more convection stacks coming in there for Baddest to slide. Take Monferno out of position yet again. The Whirlwind will go ahead and spin Monferno out of there. The heal's coming in from Gerudo King. But again, Monferno, not even brought up to half health here, is going to have to give a little bit of time for Gerudo to get that. And right away, we're going to see both of these beacons picked up by the side of DigiNauts. They are dominating in the bottom lane, starting to already push these walls in a little bit with the staying power they have down here in the bot. And for now, Rexar has been able to fend off Lunara. However, Monferno with the smart rotation up here to be able to capture this, and that will stop the charge for now. While Misha's dead, at least.
One thing interesting I like to talk about, Monferno did go Shout of Fury at the start, which is weird. Nope, and he goes down in the fight.
Yeah, very interesting. Not going for the extra sustainability on that level 1 talent, and Lunara realizing there's no way that you fend off the bear. We'll start to attack it a little bit, but at the end of the day, is not going to be able to take this down in time. The first Zerg wave is going to be 100-0 here, coming out at the 4 level mark, and they've already started to chip away at this bottom wall, while the Zerg are coming out from this top pen, going to be going after this top lane. Rexar hasn't gotten any work done yet, but I think he's about to start.
Yeah, they're definitely doing good work here with their probably superior comp, but we'll also have to see how this goes. The lack of wave clear on top lane, though, is going to be extremely worrisome here.
Yeah, Lunara not really having all that much AoE damage until at least 10, I would say, with the Thornwood Vines, if Lunara decides to go that talent this game. Monferno again having to back up. Then Titus doing all he can to try and clear this, and they do get it down without too much fort damage, so they do a nice job of focusing it down, but both front walls have been grabbed here, and nearly a full level lead for the side of DigiNauts so far.
Yeah, they're certainly playing this more sustaining game to the best of their comp's advantages that they have here.
Yeah,
the Rex are always good on this map.
Yeah, they're definitely playing the long game and not wanting to engage too hard, but Helmet Head going to go in here a little bit on Zarya. Actually decides not to slide into it. No Tychus for the follow-up, so they're just going to continue to soak the waves, and the first rotation for camps is going to be done by BJandCo. Monferno and Zentius going to go ahead and grab this camp to push out the top lane a little bit, but they do leave the top lane completely alone. So gonna have a wave walking on in to the top fort, but Monferno will be there in time to clean that up and soak that XP. But camps are on here.
It may have been a little bit more monstrous if Monferno had lost the well, but luckily he managed to save it with barely any HP remaining.
That shield will slowly work its way up, preventing Misha from just charging in there and taking it down. But get a little bit of damage out on this wall. But the invasion is on here in the bottom. DigiNauts going in hard after this camp. The gentleman's agreement to not hard engage here is over, and Helmet Head actually not quite stepping onto the point there. They are going to end up losing that camp. BJandCo pushing him back here. Zentius getting a little bit low, trying to get that poison damage out. Zydar nearly out of mana in the back, but is able to sustain the team enough to have them turn around and at least pressure BJandCo back for now. But they were able to at least secure that camp there.
Yeah, they did get the camp, but they took far more damage. So they're just going to clear this camp without any real issue. And Sonya is being somewhat destroyed by Rexar on top. Not too heavily. She's got the healing, but still not an easy lane for her.
Bullied a little bit by the bear up here, but Monferno doing a nice job of coming back, getting some self-sustain off of that wave. The beacons are activating, however. So we'll see these teams start to rotate. Almost an even level now as BJandCo has done a nice job of catching up to the side of DigiNauts. And right away, both teams start jockeying for position on these. Very aggressive positioning by Lunara, and they have swapped up the solo laner to be Sonya in the top. A nice cleanse there by GuardoKing to get Zentius out of that situation. Odin X down here in the bottom, a little bit low here on Zardi, and GuardoKing just again does not have the staying power on that Uther to be able to sustain the team through these bottom fights.
Yeah, the definite difference in the comps here is showing its huge advantage, but Sonya surprisingly did manage to take the top and kill Misha.
But Misha's back once again. This time Zoltoid walks on up to really be able to secure that beacon. However, they are going to end up losing bottom off of this. The members of BJandCo have gone back to heal up, and they've come back with enough to take this bottom camp at the bottom beacon, but level 10 just around the corner here for DigiNauts. They could have a little bit of an advantage on picking up these 10s. We'll have to see if they capitalize off of it.
Yeah, they definitely should and try and take the beacons as hard as they can right when they're about to hit 10, which seems to be what they're doing and moving in on the bot lane.
They do go in with those 10s and capture that. We are seeing Odin coming out. Mosh Pit is going to be the choice here for Helmet Head. Horrify. We are going to see the Unleashed Boars, and it is going to be a stim for the Tychus.
It makes a lot more sense with how close Tychus has to get now. The more damage they can put down, the quicker, the better for him. But at the same time, we all know Medevac is pretty good on any map just to get around.
The Cheese/Cancer not going to be appearing in this game, but I say that being a valid Morales player myself. But here come the Zerg in the bottom lane. Another 100-0 wave coming out. The Horrify comes out to be able to zone out Zodin X, or Odin X, I should say. But yeah, the Zerg are coming. These two Ultralisks up front, still plenty healthy as they push in towards this keep front wall. The Odin's being popped in the back. We will see the Gravitation Surge only catching Helmet Head, though Zydar is go ahead and walk into it, getting poked down by Zentius, and actually going in deep after it. Helmet Head is going to take advantage of that, and is going to go ahead and hit the Mosh Pit, but the Pyroblast coming in response to be able to pressure him back. Nothing that Zydar can't handle healing up eventually, though. Battis dealing a lot of damage from the back. Monferno coming down with the leap to come in from behind, trying to get that rotation, but not enough follow-up to really be able to do anything about it. But for now, it will push DigiNauts back. They lose the front wall of that keep, but they don't lose their keep. They don't lose any members. They can continue to fight on.
Yep. And talking about the talent choices for BJandCo, which is pretty interesting, they decided to go Leap over Wrath. D-Shield, which pretty much everyone knew was going to be taken. Gravity Surge, though, over Expulsion Zone, Thornwood Vines, instead of Leap, but that makes sense, and then Pyroblast over Phoenix.
Yeah, Rexar are going to get caught out here in the top lane as the members of DigiNauts rotating around to get camps, but BJandCo going to go ahead and prioritize just doing this front wall in the top, getting some damage out, but swift rotation here by DigiNauts to go ahead and capture the other bottom camp here. They will be able to get this uncontested as Monferno and company. It's a little bit too late to rotate down into this one. They will have to clean both of these camps as it pushes in towards their keep.
I think BJandCo made the right call there, though. A lot of the XP that they're missing is in structures, so attacking a structure to get some XP is definitely the most valuable thing to do.
Yeah, and they're able to rotate and clean this out before it really gets any damage done to any structures. They also have that Wisp on boss, so they're always keenly aware of whether or not DigiNauts are thinking about going for that. All the camps have been picked up here. In the top lane, Rexar going to go ahead and clean up the camp of BJandCo, but the rotation coming in. They're actually going to split up and do a little bit more soaking. Level 13 here for DigiNauts, but BJandCo should be able to pick it up pretty quickly as these beacons start to spawn.
Yeah, they're definitely in a good position on the top lane to take the beacon, but being 3v4 in the bottom lane, there's no way they're going to take that beacon.
Yeah, they're just going to have to back out of the situation for the moment. They really want to soak to 13, but Digiboss trying to get in here and really disrupt the members of BJandCo from rotating anywhere. The heal will come out onto Zentius. Be able to keep him up with Guerdo King. Going to have to pop the Divine Shield on himself. Not the ideal target that you want to go for, but a huge Pyroblast with 3 members stuck in. Digiboss is going to go down. Helmet Head getting very low. Does hit the 3-man Mosh, and Zydar doing a nice job of keeping him alive long enough to get that, to keep that that mosh pit going, and a huge turn there by DigiNauts.
Yeah, that just shows that one mosh can change everything. But
I
also,
feel like I've heard that before. Who keeps saying that all the time to us? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. He might be rabid, possibly a penguin. I'm not quite sure. Definitely a flightless bird, though.
Part-time rabid, part-time penguin, giving us the ways of the ETC. But yeah, that was just good play all around. That 3-man Pyroblast, that is not something that you see every day coming out from BJandCo. I thought that was about ready to wreck DigiNauts, but they were able to split up, stop taking so much AoE damage, and give Zydar just enough chance to heal them up. However, getting rotated on here, the Stim Drone is going to come down on Zolotoi, but they're still on the retreat. Zydar, with an entirely green health bar, courtesy of Zentius, is going to go down. The Odin being popped here after the Stim Drone is down. They are going to be able to take him down. Jason also very low, but a huge Horrify to be able to separate out Zarya. Zarya will go down. The slide coming in from Helmet Head. 2 more go down. That's a full team wipe. And that could spell possibly the end of the game here for BJandCo. They got a full Zerg wave in the top and 3 members to support it.
Yeah, cooldown can be pretty scary even if you have a number advantage. All it takes is Horrify and a couple E. And cooldown almost went down. Oh, here comes the Pyroblast, though.
It's gonna be close.
Morales.
It's gonna be pretty close. Oh, wow! Jason surviving on just about no health there. And wow. They do get the keep though, however. First keep of the game going over to DigiNauts as they are able to push that Zerg wave in just enough. And I'll tell you what, that 8% health advantage from being 2 levels up was the only thing that was able to keep Jason alive in that situation.
Very true. If he didn't have that even encounter, if he would have accidentally tapped one more time during that fight.
Yeah, anything, any little speck of damage there, but just barely able to rotate away far enough to get the health regen going to keep himself alive. Gets out of that situation, and Camp camps will be started here by BJandCo, if nothing else, just to get them on the map. As level 16, still about 3/4 of a level away. They need to duck, dive, dodge, and duck. No, it was dodge first. My bad. I screwed that one up. My bad, folks.
But you got it right in the end.
You know, it's close enough. They gotta avoid and evade here until they get 16. But looks like DigiNauts not really willing to let him do that. The Horrified has started off, going to split everybody up. The leap into the back by the Sonya, going to be supported, by the huge D-shield. We do see the 4-man Mosh coming out, however, to be able to get a ton of damage out. KT had to rotate out with almost no help, but the Pyroblast coming in. This time he's definitely going to get Jason down, and also going to take Rexar with him, as he was just a little bit too close. However, Helmet Head going in deep here after Zarya, so it is a 3-for-3 at this point with Guerdo King. No way he's going to be able to make it out of this situation. Though the Jukes and Jives coming in here. Helmet Head will have the slide to be able to finish this one off, though. And it is just going to be baddest left over on the side of BJandCo. But all things considered, not too bad for a fight being down a talent here.
That's very true. They played that pretty well. Their combo is really interesting because I didn't really see it at first, but it does kind of rely on catching everyone in the CC, and that's the only issue that I'm seeing with this right now is that 2 people get out of it and they can just clean house after it.
Right, yeah, you catch the right people in that Gravitation Surge with the Pyroblast, the Leap damage, and the Thornwood Vines. You can really wreck some people. But I think you're right. I think it's a little bit too avoidable. Morales also having Cleanse, so Morales can get a priority target out of that situation. We do see BJandCo going up to the top to engage this. Monferno trying to come in from the back, but Kael'thas is going to be the first to fall. Zodin goes down to Zilitoid and Jason. Monferno's not going to make it out, and this could be it right here. Unfortunately, they don't have the medevac to core, but they do. But they do have the full Zerg wave coming. They do start the boss just to get that coming as well. They're not going to go straight to core. Zerg wave pushing in the bottom lane. So I think this goes to top lane for the side of DigiNauts. So they'll have the boss pushing in the top as well as the Zerg wave. Oh no, it is going to meander its way on into the bottom lane. So full Zerg wave already on its way to the keep with the boss just sauntering right on in down the lane behind it. Helmet Head going in deep here, looking to catch somebody out deep. Gets stunned, but will slide through and get the 2-man Mosh immediately interrupted. Zodin is going to throw out that Gravitation Surge, but Uther is the first to fall in this situation. Will be able to still heal, though, in that ghost form. The Pyroblast coming out onto ETC, but that's not going to do a whole lot. The Zerg are taking out this core without the boss even really being here, and that is GG. DigiNauts taking the game here on Braxis Holdout.
Yeah, they just have the superior comp, I feel. Uther just still isn't in a good place. He's one of the few healers that I think is still pretty terrible. I understand the whole D-Shield Mosh thing, but maybe a different healer that could have contributed to it, or maybe just going Divine Storm and walking into the Zarya pull to CC them even harder. But I don't think D-Shield or maybe Uther was the answer there at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was the Uther. It did a great job of keeping Monferno alive in a couple of those situations, but at the end of the day, you got to think long term on this map. You have to have the staying power and the sustain to really be able to compete here on Braxis Holdout. It's just the most important thing to consider, because if you don't make it to those late games, you know, it doesn't really. If you're constantly down those talent tiers and you can't go engage, you can't get these Zerg waves. They never got a Zerg wave the entire game. It was always, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was always 100-0 for the side of DigiNauts, and eventually it was just too much to take.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was always 0-100 because if they took top at all, it was a 2v1 and then it was a 3v4 in the bottom lane. They just got pushed out.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us for this cast, guys. We got to turn this around real quick because we got a best 2 out of 3 that's scheduled to start in about a minute. So we're going to just restart the stream, and we'll be back for you guys for a best of 3 series in just a few minutes.